From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU football update. I'm Jenny Carlson, and even though we're in the middle of the summer, the middle of the off season, recruiting is still going strong. Nathan Ruiz joins us on the phone to talk about the latest for the Cowboys. And Nathan, been kind of quiet as it relates to offensive line for the Cowboys, an area that obviously the Cowboys continue to want to improve and add to. First 11 guys, I believe, in the class were non-offensive linemen, but that's changed in recent days, right?
Yeah, in a 4-day stretch, they're able to land 3 offensive linemen. So offensive line coach Josh Henson doing some work recently. But now in over the past 10 or 11 days, they've gotten half of what is now their 2019 recruiting class at 14 recruits. 7 of them have come since June 8th. So OSU is doing some work on the recruiting trail, and obviously this is the time of year to take advantage of it. And we don't know if maybe that new early signing period, in its second year now is causing that, where we saw more people come in, taking official visits in the spring. We don't know if maybe that's part of the shift of why we're seeing such a big boost for them early. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out as OSU kind of continues to maybe thrive off a strong spring and see if that continues throughout the summer.
Yeah, Josh Henson, the offensive line coach, putting up some serious hay with this recruiting class in recent days. But they have been adding guys throughout this summer. And where do you feel like the class is at this point, just overall, Nathan? I mean, obviously, the Cowboys were among that group of teams when we got to that December signing day this last December, that first time we had that early signing period. They nearly signed all of their class at that point. So clearly they want to get to the fall with a ton of these guys already committed. But where do things stand at this point? Do you feel like they've still got some big areas of need, or are they starting to sort of see this class round into what they want it to be once we get to December?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strong pieces there. They have their quarterback in Brendan Costello, landed him about a week ago. And the jewel of the class is Grayson Boomer, the tight end out of Collinsville. But they've got some great defensive line depth. Obviously now, as we just discussed, the offensive line, probably some pieces in the secondary, maybe a receiver or running back here or there. But they've got a really nice foundation. Obviously, it's a really deep class, I would think. You look at some of these guys that they've brought in. Right now, if you look at 24/7 Sports rankings, they're 4th in the Big 12, which is a decent place to be. They're in the top 30 nationally. So there are some things to be excited about with this, and it's only going to get added to. They still remain in the running for Dax Hill, the safety out of Booker T. Washington, and, of course, running back Justice Hill's younger brother. He's a 5-star guy who obviously would boost his class a ton. Of course, they're also competing with 5 blue blood programs in OU, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, and Alabama. He took an official visit to Alabama this past weekend. So it's going to be tough sledding for them to get him, but I think there's a lot of pieces that they're still floating out there that OSU is excited about that we could see come their way down the line.
Hey, Nathan, lastly, obviously a week or so ago, big waves made after Mike Holder had some comments about recruiting within the Cowboy football program, felt like the Cowboys needed to maybe shoot higher in their recruiting. And I don't know about other people, but I wondered how would that impact recruiting now, because clearly the football coaches are out on the recruiting trail. Is this a sign that it's had little impact, or do we have a sense of whether that is going to have any internal or external sway in anything as it relates to Cowboy recruiting?
I think it's tough to say in the short term, just because I'm sure all these guys that they've been getting have been guys that either didn't even hear those comments or, are guys that the work has already been put in for them to eventually commit. It's something that I think, I think it's understandable frustration on both sides. I can see where Mike Holder is coming from, and I can understand why Mike Gundy was frustrated that was put into the public eye. And I think it doesn't help either of them that this is a summer storyline and not a mid-season storyline where there's other things to cover it up. But yeah, it's just an interesting situation all around. And I think OSU has done a decent job in it, but Mike Gundy's kind of always expressed that OSU isn't a school that can go after those 4- and 5-star guys consistently. I think in recent years, it's not that they're hesitant to make the offers, it's maybe just they don't put as much effort into getting those guys once the offer is made, just because they recognize that they're likely bound for another program. But OSU obviously is not. Mike Gundy's going to get his guys, is I think kind of maybe what these past couple weeks show. We see guys whose best offers are from Ivy League schools, or he's not. Preston Wilson, the guy they got in the past couple of days, he's He picked OSU over Texas Tech, Duke, Arizona State. So there's some nice Power 5 programs. He had 30 offers. So OSU is getting these guys that other programs want. It's just maybe they're not up there with the blue blood programs in terms of who they're competing with in recruiting. And I think Mike Gundy understands that as of now, OSU can't beat those teams, those programs in recruiting. So I think for now, we're just going to see OSU and Mike Gundy target the guys that they've been targeting, and maybe over the next couple of years, if Mike Holder's comments really did make an impact, I think that's when we'd see it as in classes down the line rather than this 2019 class.
All right, those commitments continue to roll in, and we'll continue to bring you that news. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere, newsok.com, and every day in the Oklahoman.